The hot and cold relationship that the US has had with Formula One seems to ebb and flow over long periods. But one thing is for sure, the fans here in the States are as fervent as ever for the fastest form of road racing in the world. COTA is a testament to the passion surviving the fallow periods, as this circuit finally brought modern Formula One stateside to a custom-built facility. And the fans certainly showed up in droves. Today, our drivers get to tackle one of F1's newest tracks as we get ready to watch Round 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Doctor of Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Sean, it feels a little appropriate having you here with us today for this Texas circuit. Tell us a little bit about this place.
Well, Joe, welcome home to the great state of Texas. Right here in little old Elroy. And you know, Elroy, it sits just on the Austin city limits. And boy, there's a great shot from the track. You're standing up in the tower section up near the bridge. You can look all the way out to the west and you can see beautiful downtown Austin right there. And you know, this was the first purpose-built Formula One track in the United States, opened in 2012. Joe, buddy, it's got 20 turns over this 3.327 circuit. We're going to go 36 laps here today around COTA. Again, it's a beautiful track, but one thing to watch out here for, okay? Multiple racing lines, and it was deliberately laid out that way with wide corners. There's going to be a lot of side-by-side racing, a lot of attempts for overtaking. The long backstretch, of course, that is a DRS zone. That's going to provide a number of good passing opportunities. But the best way to get an idea what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC McLaren and take a ride around COTA.
All right, we've got Harrison Finch in the GSRC McLaren, so let's do a lap around COTA. Coming up to turn 1, always remember the crest right at turn in. Drivers will be out-braking themselves into here often because it's so difficult to hit your marks just right. The tightness of this hairpin certainly doesn't help that. From there, you head downhill into 2, which leads us into the S's. Keeping on the racing line is incredibly important here. Get out of the groove and you're going to be losing lots of time. It's also going to be dangerous to flirt with those pyramid curves, which can really send you out of control. Even worse if you climb directly over them and damage the underside of the car. As you climb back up towards turn 9, this is the slowest section of these curves, and the car starts to get light as you exit. That's a recipe for spun tires if you aren't careful. Back down you go, and then there's the critical turn 11. While passes can be made into here, it's a question of whether it's wise. You see, it takes you onto the backstretch, which is the longest straight of the track, and on top of it, you've got your DRS zone. There's a good chance your competitor will pass you right back down here into 12. But this is a pretty sharp corner in its own right. And this is another spot where you might see drivers get too greedy and overshoot it. That, or they might just clatter into one another accidentally. We've now hit the stadium section. It's a pair of hairpins, which means you're in low gear for almost the whole way through. Drivers who have a better feel for the grip available will get off the corners better and probably make up a good amount of time. That leads into the triple apexer meant to imitate Turkey. It isn't quite flat out, but it's very fast, and following in the wake of the car ahead is going to be a nightmare. Switch sides quickly, and then you'll need to brake for 19. Off camber and blind, this is one of the most deceptively tough turns on the circuit. At last, you hit the final corner, where it'll be important to hold close to your opponent. This is where the second DRS zone is, leading back up the front stretch. But hopefully, you've now finished a lap around COTA. To give you a great view of this beautiful facility. Unfortunately, a little bit overcast here in Texas today, but those cool conditions will certainly please the drivers. Now, qualifying is taking place right now, but while we wait for some times to get on the board, let's take a look at the championship situation. Oscar currently leading the way by 170 points, and he's got 29 pocket points there. And Harrison Finch has moved up in the second with his great performances lately. Now, he has a lot more pocket points, though, than our leader. That could come into play later down the line. But so far, Tommy has really had the measure of the field in terms of speed. Calistani moves up a position, Domingo moves down, and those are your top 5 there here for our points. Now, Sean, we might have viewers who have never watched this series before, so what does the iRacing Grand Prix Series have in store today?
Well, we are here in round 10. 3 big races to go. in the McLaren MP4-30, folks. And the setups on these cars are open. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, lots of adjustments for the Formula One car that they can make to make it just as fast and as comfortable as they need it be to survive the 36 laps that will run today here around Circuit of the Americas. That is the iRacing official point system, and we talk about points, talk about strength of field, and when we look at numbers, 5,045, you would have, as our director pointed out, you would have had an I rating of 3,837 to even make this split. So, of two splits, this is the top one here today, Joe.
That is just an astonishing number. Now, we watch Tommy Osgaard has won a few rounds this season as he works his way through the stadium section to try and get a time in. The VRS COTA Sim Sport driver expected to do well yet again today. Only 3 more rounds, including today, to finish up the season. And I expect Tommy is looking very strong to try and take this championship home, although there's never a guarantee. We've seen drivers make mistakes at harder tracks in this one. Rob Bower is the first one to get a time in at a 38 flat. But Harrison Finch is going to top him quickly. And then what about Osgaard? As he gets a time in. Oh, and he does not get a time in. That one was not a timed lap.
That didn't count, yeah.
So that was his out lap. So we have to wait for him to go around one more time. There's Matteo Calistani. Finch currently leads things then at a 36 flat. So go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to see what kind of a lap Mac Backham could put up. And he's on track, but he hasn't gotten a lap in yet.
Yeah, we expect good things from Backham. The last time he showed up, he had an incredible run there at Road America. Took home the win in dominant fashion. This is not a good lap for him as he comes around. A little bit of a slow one as he does not count that one, actually. Thompson also just still on his outlap. Driver's taking a little bit of time. Not a terribly long lap around here. Formula One cars still screaming around at just over half a minute.
Just blows me away, the blinding speed of this circuit in a Formula One car. Obviously, they knew what they were doing, Joe. A purpose-built Formula One facility that shares the best of all the Formula excuse me, that shares the best of all the great European Formula One tracks.
Now, the big difference, though, from some of those is that this has a lot of runoff out here. Now, that'll help cars survive, I believe, even though they tend to come in at a high rate of knots, and they can still hit a barrier. But, Sean, the big thing I've always seen with this track is not the barriers, but other cars. You mentioned it in the pre-race, how there's various lines, and it seems like tangling here is very easy to do.
It is, because you get kind of drawn in by the fact that, oh, there's so much space out there, I can make this happen. And well, sometimes one problem with this car, the sight lines not being as good as you would like them to be, you could be a lot closer to an opponent than you plan to be or think you are. And listen, we will see him tangle here, especially that run up to turn one, Joe. 5, 6, 7 cars wide. It can get very, very crazy up the hill.
All right, Mac Backham finally gets a time in, but he's 2/10 slower than Harrison Finch. Could we see Finch finally get another win here in the IGPS series? Osgaard might try to deny him that pole position. He didn't get his timed lap on his first time around. He had an off, so it did not count as it does here on iRacing if you go outside of the track boundaries. He comes across the line. Is the second one going to count? It does, but it's only good enough for third. Finch still on pole. Seeing if we have any other drivers down at the bottom that are fast waiting to get a time in. Mostly mid-pack drivers that are waiting on. Josh Thompson, though, tends to be a little bit up there. His first lap didn't count, and he's going to abandon his second lap. The number 8 is going to have a difficult race with a lot of passing to do today.
Yeah, that's boy, that doesn't bode well for Josh. He's certainly capable of it, Joe, but that's tough. You got to fight from the back of the pack like that. He's going to have 36 laps here to take a swing at it, but maybe strategy wins the day here. Tires sure to be an issue here at Circuit of the Americas, even with the low track temperatures. Joe, I still think you're gonna see there may be a bit of a tire war today. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, let's go to the grid. On the pole, going to be Harrison Finch, followed by Mac Backham in second. Then Tommy Osgard will start row 2 in third, with Ricardo Orozco. Tends to run those alternate strategies sometimes. He'll be in fourth. Manu Domingo will be in P5, followed by Matteo Calistani in sixth. Kyle Germanton starts row 4 and seventh. Then Nicholas Rasmussen in seventh. Daniel Baida starts ninth, and then rounding out the top 10 is Rob Bower.
Ali Cuoca going to start 11th today, Joe, right alongside Bill Frazier. Then it'll be Josh Thompson. He'll start 13th. Benjamin Lindsay will round out row 7. Row 8 is going to be Ashley Beard and Stefan Schmidt.
So a little bit of a small field today because they had a split in it, but should be a good one with 16 cars gridding up today. That is going to be plenty to try and give us some action. As we mentioned, a lot of passing opportunities out there, some great passing opportunities where we expect some aggressive moves at some points as we wait for the rest of the field to get themselves to the grid, just checking their setups, making sure that everything is good before they bring it out. Ashley Beard running the modern McLaren paint scheme here on this 2015 version of the car. As the lights come up, the engines start to rev. Round 10 here in the IGPS series. And the green flag is out as they get off the line. Harrison Finch does not have a good one. Mac Backham comes up the outside. He's going to have a nose ahead, but can he go the long way around and take it away? Finch cuts it in close. Backham does not, and he is going to be denied the lead as they start to slot into place around that first corner.
And Joe, at the top of the hill, they were 5 wide at one point.
Woof. I am amazed that they came out clean on that. They start to sort themselves out through the S's.
Oh, big trouble.
Looks like
Kyle Germanton.
Oh, and more problems. Benjamin Lindsay off. It looks like Bill Frazier goes off into the kitty litter. One of the few places where you can find it out in this track.
Yeah, and that was a hard hit for Frazier. He's got a toe.
But Rob Bower is going slow. Not sure if he got a piece of that as well. So, a little bit of action after the first quarter. Not what you usually expect to see here in the IGPS series at COTA. Harrison Finch already under attack from Mac Backham as he has it go down into turn 12. Finch has to go wide, but he holds on to it.
Yeah, that incident with Frazier started with him and Ali Cuoca getting wheels together. We talked about cars banging it together. Joe, that's exactly what happened there.
We'll get back to that replay a little bit later as they come around Turkey. Man, Finch might have had a good pole lap, but Mac Backham is immediately putting the pressure on to see if he can get by. Now, if these guys start racing the hard, Sean, you were talking about the tires. You wonder if that's going to allow maybe Tommy Osgard to be able to stay with them and attempt to pass these guys if they wear it out too quickly.
Well, exactly, Joe. And you don't want to burn up your stuff early, but right now, Finch is just being attacked by Mac Backham. I don't think Finch has a choice right now. He's got to go as hard and as fast as he can to hold position here because Mac Backham really, really wants that spot. Backham, though, a little bit sloppy behind him there through the S's. Easy for me to say, I'm not driving the car.
Absolutely. So, I believe we have a replay of the first incident into the S's. So we pull that up. I'll keep an eye on the leaders in case that starts to erupt on the backstretch. Watching Germanton as he was the one that got it the worst here. Is that Rasmussen he's with? It is indeed, and a lot of net code there, unfortunately, as they were definitely not within contact on screen. Come back live. Backham was not able to get up to the car of Harrison Finch. So as they work their way through the stadium section, he's going to hold on for now, but it is a scant half a second between our top two.
Joe, Josh Thompson is on the move. Just got past Daniel Beta and on his way to catch Nicholas Rasmussen. Now he's up 5 spots here early. Got himself into the top 10.
This gets him into 8th as Rasmussen hopefully doesn't have any damage from that contact that he had, that phantom contact. As Backham sets the fastest lap of the race here. And I believe DRS should now be available to all drivers. So this is where it starts to get interesting as they work their way through the S's. Backham doing an impressive job here, Sean, of staying close to Finch. The wake in these cars, even though this is the lower downforce version of the F1 cars from 2015, it's still pretty difficult to follow closely.
Yeah, well, like you said, the wake is just, it's incredible, and the machine doesn't turn as well as you would like it to here. And Joe, we're going to get our first DRS opportunity here.
All right. He's well within that DRS zone down the backstretch. Mac Backham following closely. It kicks in. He zooms up the inside, and Finch does not defend. He lets him through, and it's a clean, easy pass for Mac Backham.
Nice work. Really nice work there.
A little bit of time lost to Tommy Osgaard, who now closes it in within half a second. He is the highest driver with a black stripe, surprisingly. Orozco behind him. And then it is Daniel Bida, the last of our black stripe drivers, currently sitting down in 9th. Josh Thompson, by the way, did get past Rasmussen last time by.
Yeah, and, you know, I got to be honest, keep flipping back and forth to Josh Thompson. Boy, his connection doesn't look very solid today, Joe. And just looking in the chat, some of the drivers already talking about the net code on that first incident and connections issues here in the server. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully Josh can keep things together because, man, he keeps moving through the field real quickly.
And it's going to get a little bit tighter as he gets up to the top spots and drivers defend that much harder as we ride on board with Bida there in 9th, following closely behind Rasmussen. Up to the top of the hill they go, over the crest. And Sean, the other thing I feel like is a bit of a worry. There's a lot of slow corners. This is an incredibly powerful car with that hybrid engine. I have to imagine wheel spin a major concern.
Yeah, definitely. Joe, the hairpins here, every one of them, very, very tricky getting back to the power, especially in this car because of all that torque you just talked about.
Oh, boy, look at this down the inside. Looks for it in turn 12, but he's denied by Rasmussen. We're both looking at the same thing there, Sean.
Yeah.
He had a go at it, but just couldn't pull it off.
Well, you expected that black stripe. You expect Bida to continue to try and move through the field. Bida. Sorry about that. We'll get that right, Joe.
Is it Bida? Okay, my apologies. All right. So, as they work their way through turn 19, we jump back up to second place, fastest lap going to Backham now that he's been freed up ahead of Finch, and Finch already dealing with Tommy Osgaard. Now this, I think, a little bit more critical than that battle for the lead. I mean, obviously that was important and disappointing for Finch to lose that, but remember, Finch dealing with Osgaard for the overall championship as well. He wants to keep him behind.
He does, but boy, Osgaard really looks good right now, Joe. Finch has got to be concerned about this. I think that's a little bit earlier than he would like to. He'd like the battle, to be honest with you. He just got finished with that one with Backham, and now all of a sudden, the great equalizer that's DRS has brought Osgaard into this picture.
Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I believe the energy recovery system being heavily employed by Finch here to try and keep him back, and he does a good job with it, as it looks like Osgard not going to be able to get by him this time here in that DRS zone on the backstretch. And already these two losing contact with Mac Backham. It is a 1.7 second gap up to the lead.
As they head through the stadium section, Backham probably with a bit of a smile on his face right now. That's exactly what he wants to see back there, is Finch struggling to keep Tommy Osgard off of him.
What if we could take a glance at Thompson again, because he's closing in on Calistani. A little bit farther back than we're used to seeing for Calistani here in 6th, but second DRS zone is here on the front stretch. Thompson is very close, though, as he follows up to turn 1. Is he going to take a dive into this corner? Looks like he's not quite close enough. Sets him up maybe for a wider entry to see if he can get into turn 2, but once again, does not pan out. And now they hit the S's. Now, Sean, these S's have a bit of a unique feature through them. Those pyramid curves. How closely can you flirt with them? Because they're pretty tall for a car such as this.
Yeah, they are, Joe. You can't flirt with them much. Certainly graze the side of them, but you don't want to get right up on top of them. It'll do wicked things to your car and probably bring on a little bit of damage. These wings on the Formula One car, a bit fragile. You don't want to clatter up against those much. If you do, you'll find yourself in for an extended pit stop for that wing change.
Thompson continues to harass Calistani, but continues to be too far back for an actual attempt, as Calistani is a bit wide at turn 12. Oh, and on screen, Beta with a pass on Rasmussen successfully through turn 12. That moves him up into 8th.
Yeah, and it was another great pass on the backstretch. Boy, a bit of a lock up there from Beta going in through the turn. He seems to be in control, though. He's pulling away now here through the stadium section.
Great job by the International Club driver to get himself back where one position up from where he started. This is going to move him into 8th after being 9th on the grid. Our biggest mover is Josh Thompson, having started 13th, currently 7th.
Boy, Backup's just about got this to 2 seconds.
Yeah, ever since he pulled that initial gap, though, he hasn't really been getting away too quickly. Wonder if this is just gap management from Backham, thinking, I've got the pace, just take care of the tires, wait for the pit stop, and I should be golden. Battle between Finch and Osgard split up a little bit. For a while, actually, Osgard was away from the outside of that DRS gap. Now, he's closed it back in within a second, so this is going to help him a little bit down the backstretch, as he's 8 tenths now, 2 tenths chopped away, 6 tenths, and it's going to stall out there. Benjamin Lindsay has disappeared. We've had a couple retirements so far. I'm going to see if I can figure out what happened to Benjamin. Or excuse me, to Benjamin. Oh, and he's come back. I think it was a connection issue. Boy, he was gone for quite a while.
Yeah, I'm looking here. We've had several disconnections. I'm trying to see if he was one of them.
And Sean, are you ready for round 2? Germanton has caught up to Rasmussen.
Yeah, I'm watching that. Germanton, honestly, look, he seems to have kind of gotten things back together after dropping several spots, and this is a race now. Rasmussen in trouble.
Yeah, he does not seem to have the pace today, and I have to think that Germanton, not necessarily wanting revenge, but I'm sure he can't be happy about that contact. He probably isn't aware that it is netcode when they had that side-by-side coming together, as he follows him through the S's section. Now behind them, interestingly, Benjamin Lindsay getting close as well, looking like this might be a 3-car battle for 9th.
Yeah, Lindsay right on the tail of this, making something happen here.
Down into 11. Nobody's going to make moves. Everybody waiting patiently for that DRS, and Rasmussen way off the apex. And look at Germanton. I think this is going to be a slam dunk. The DRS slides open, and Rasmussen knows that he does nothing to defend this one.
Yeah.
Lets that Affinity car down the inside and give that P9 to Kyle Germanton.
Yeah, and boy, I'll tell you what, Lindsay really wheeling it back there. He is now right up there with him, Joe. He'll be the next one to try to take advantage of the DRS here behind Rasmussen.
It's another driver that did not get a time lap in qualifying, so starting from 14th, he is a bit out of position. He's up to 11th now. And we saw Rasmussen miss that apex, Sean. This is one of those tracks where the equipment actually kind of makes a difference. Anybody with a rift or triple screen seems to have a little bit of an advantage.
Probably so. And there's the move up the inside. Boy, Lindsay took a stab at it.
He thought about it, but late on the brakes, Rasmussen denies him. Wow. I thought for sure that Lindsay was going to have that.
Go back to what you're saying about having a rift. You know what we saw yesterday, the disadvantage of having one, and that is if you have an update early in the morning and something goes awry when you're in a tricky spot on the track, as happened to McLaren yesterday morning.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thankfully, it's not too early in the morning for most of these drivers, except the U.S. guys, including drivers. Whoa, Finch with an off. Where is that happening?
That happened at the end of the straight there in turn 12. And to say he got in hot might be a bit of an understatement.
Oh, wow. It looks like the rear's just locked up on him. That car snapped out of nowhere in a straight line. My goodness. Well, we know that can happen with the energy recovery system on these cars, that sometimes that can catch you out, even though they've fixed it.
Yeah, and boy, Finch loses that spot to Osgard, and one he had been trying to hold on to for quite some time there, at least throughout the first 8 laps of these last 8 laps, and gives it up now to and boy, Finch gonna really, all he's done is back up, and you know what? That's brought Ricardo Orozco right there, Joe.
That has got to be frustrating for him. But that's still not our closest fight. It's Lindsay and Rasmussen, and he's going to have another go into turn 1. Down the inside, Rasmussen gives him room, but he's going to gun it off the corner. Look at this defense from Nicholas.
Oh.
What a beautiful job he's been doing.
Yeah, and you know what? Lindsay got a great turn off the top of the hill, but I saw the rear wheel slide just a little bit. I think that's what prevented him from actually completing the pass.
Well, he's going to have to give it another go. He's going to get another attempt on the backstretch, it looks like, as he stays close to Rasmussen. But as I was saying on those Rift updates, it's not early in the morning for most of our drivers, including Daniel Bida, who, thanks to Flourish Bashar, we understand, is from Israel. That's always good to see drivers from places we don't commonly see. So here goes another move from Lindsay. Once again, Rasmussen does not cover off the inside. Lindsay moves back to the racing line a little bit, gives him space on the outside. This time he gets it done after 3 times of trying. 3 times the charm, Sean.
It was for Benjamin Lindsay, and that was a long time coming. Good job there. Rasmussen, though, is the one that's backing up Joe, and that's a bit of a surprise as he continues to fall. Here he's down 3 spots overall. And
I wonder if we could get an onboard for Rob Bower and just listen to these machines. Such a unique sound on these hybrid engines as he tries to chase down the car of Ali Cuoca. Getting awful close to the back of Cuoca. I'm sure Cuoca would like another good race. We keep mentioning it. He just really seems to be an up and down driver. Sometimes having a good one, sometimes it just never seems to go his way. And as we watch to see, going to be DRS open for Boer down the backstretch. See if he gets it done this time by. They cross the line as the wing opens up. Boer starts to close in. Defensive move from Cuoca. Probably the first time we've seen anybody go defensive. And I think he's going to be able to hold him off. So as he stays behind, while we have a chance, why don't we take a glance at the weather here? We mentioned it's overcast. I mean, that's much is obvious. But 81 degrees on the track. So probably pretty ideal conditions out there. Not too hot, not too cold. Little bit of wind though, Sean. I have a feeling that could affect the drivers a little bit.
Especially going up the hill into turn one, and as you come down turn one, down to the S's there, you begin to turn the car right. Those gusts of winds across the track, and they can wreak havoc on you, on your downforce, and just keeping the car stable.
Yeah, there in the background we saw that was Stefan Schmidt in the Affinity car get a little loose off of 19. So even him, even he was having trouble here with it as we switch up to Germantown, sitting in that 9th position. It's got about 2 seconds up to Beta, but Benjamin Lindsay has been following him through the field. And now that he's disposed of Rasmussen, well, he's actually been closing in. It's down to 8/10. It's within DRS on Germantown.
It is, and Joe, you're about to get a taste of that now. Lindsay, as long as he gets a good turn here, he's going to get an opportunity.
And this is two Americans versus one another. Germantown hailing from New Jersey. Benjamin racing for the Mid-South Club. Good to see them representing here on home soil. He's a little bit too far back for an attempt down into 12, but just uses that DRS to continue to close the gap. We're on lap 12 of 36 here, Sean. You have to wonder, does anybody maybe try to undercut, pit a little bit early since the cars get lighter in the second half?
You know what, Joe? I think there's a good chance of that happening here today at COTA. Well, I think that window coming here real soon.
Halfway marker going to be at, I believe, 17, 18 laps. Yes, so just a couple more laps to reach the halfway point. And I believe they're within a window if they wanted to stop early, as we take a glance at Oscard, currently running in second, but has not been able to run down Backham. That gap is at 6.5 seconds now. Well, I don't think Backham is bothering to just manage the gap anymore. He's running as hard as he pleases. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I'm still keeping an eye on Lindsay. And
yeah, I am too.
Lindsay, really? Lindsay keeps poking his nose in where it doesn't belong. You might get it chopped off. I don't know. Kyle's lost a couple of spots. He doesn't want to lose anymore right now.
Yeah, it's been a hard enough race for the New Jerseyite. And as they come out of 11 on the backstretch, this is a lot closer for Lindsay this time. We ride on board as the wing opens. What can Germantown do? He stays on the racing line to the inside. Here goes Lindsay. Tries to find the apex. Can he get the car woed up in time? Over under here from Kyle. Goes around the outside into the stadium section. It's going to switch back in the next one. Beautiful job by Germantown to take it back.
You say about chopping that nose off? Careful, careful. Great job by Germantown fighting back to get his position back.
Yeah, he says, you can have the inside, but I'm going to stay where the grip is. He used it to beautiful effect to keep that 9th place within his grasp for now. Oh, and Calistani has an issue. He loses his spot to Beta. This was in the final corner. Let's see what happened here. Oh, he was trying to pit, and he missed it. Sean, he missed the pit entry. Oh, my goodness.
That's not good. Wow.
I mean, it is a hairpin coming into there, so you can't blame him too much. It's right on board, trying to maximize it. Wow. And he could have reversed if he wanted to. I'm surprised he didn't. He wasn't too far past it.
Well, that's just going to cost him a ton of time, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's put him within 2 seconds of Germanton even, who still managed to fend off Lindsay. I thought he was going to maybe make an attempt into turn 1, but couldn't do anything with it. They're now on the backstretch, and actually Lindsay has lost a little time, gone back to almost 9/10. Germanton as well, equally back from Kalistani. Around turn 12, into the stadium section. All right, Matteo, you're going to have a second go at the pit entry here. Let's see if he learned his lesson. This time, if he botches it, that's going to be 2 positions for sure gone.
I'm going to make a bold prediction and say he did learn something from that show. He's probably going to nail this.
Move the braking point back a little bit. There, he's got it this time. And Germanton goes in as well. Ooh. But he's not followed in by Lindsay. I think this is a strategical error from Benjamin. I think he should have followed him in.
I agree, Joe. I'm not going to go against you on that one. That would have been Lindsay's best hope. He's got a long way to go to catch Beta, who continues to move forward. Lindsay been back there fighting. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was a miscalculation, I think, by him and the team.
Interestingly, these are the only 2 drivers to take the early strategy so far, Kalistani and Germanton. Nobody else in the whole field has come in. We've had 3 retirements so far, Bower, Beard, and Frazier. So 13 left out on track. Most drivers a little bit separated now. Closest battle is for 10th. Quokka's woes continue as now Stefan Schmidt is trying to demote him.
Is Schmidt going to get the DRS here? It's gotten just close enough now. Boy, but doesn't get a really good turn off the hairpin, and that's not going to matter. Going to run out of straightaway here.
Something we haven't talked about, Sean, that maybe we should mention. There is an incident limit, 17 incidents. Oh, as Stefan Schmidt goes a bit wide and racks up another one.
Yeah.
Now, 36 laps, 17, and that's less than 1 every other lap. It's so easy to rack them up here. Are we going to see any DNFs today?
Joe, we might. And is what Stefan Schmidt just...
Oh, beat him with an issue. This time, he does back it up to get it in.
More woes in the pit lane.
Wow, driver's not practicing that entry enough, apparently. Sees it, decides rear gear is going to be good enough, takes it in. Even though he still gets into the pit, that is just a lot of time lost.
Yeah, it really is. Well, Stefan Schmidt came in as well. So did Ali Quokka.
Harrison Finch, our highest pitter currently, Orozco, followed him in. So right now, I wonder if Finch is going to try and get the undercut on Osgaard. And you have to wonder, is Osgaard going to maybe respond this next lap? Is he aware of the situation? Comes around the stadium section, up to Turkey. This is the moment to see if he responds or if he just sticks to whatever plan he had going before, and he responds. He's in. But is that 1 lap going to be enough? How far back actually was Finch before his pit stop? Don't think he was too far behind.
He wasn't too far, Joe. Who else came in there? I think Manny Domingo came in.
Yeah, Domingo comes in and works his way down the long pit lane on the front stretch.
Oh, here's Finch.
Osgaard in and out. He's heading up to the cones. He's past the cones.
There's Finch.
That Finch going by, and he's got him. Look at that. What a beautiful strategic call by Harrison Finch to get second place, a net second place, back from Tommy Osgaard.
Boy, now that was a drag race to the pit exit there, and Finch wins it, screams on by, and now puts a second between him and Osgaard.
Wow, I did not expect it to be that effective over a single lap. Shows you just how valuable fresh tires are out on this track. So right on board with the Roscoe, he comes out just behind these two. He's within DRS range of Tommy Oscar. So last cars that were waiting yet to pit are Lindsay and Backham, only two.
Yeah, and Lindsay's right in front of Finch here. Lindsay just now getting through turn 14 here.
Did Backham in the final corner, did he also miss the pit lane? No, he did not. This was just driver error in the final corner. Wow, locks him up mid-corner. Huh. Unusual mistake from Mac. Now, here's the question, Sean. He's now been out multiple laps past these guys. They are gaining, but were they too far back to try and jump Backham?
You know what, Joe? I don't think so here. I mean, bogey time looks to be about 28 seconds, somewhere between about 27 and 28 seconds. We'll take Lindsay out of the mix because he's got a pit. But Finch is only 25, 26 seconds back. Oscar, they're about 27 and a half seconds. Roscoe, just over 28 seconds. I don't know, Joe. It's going to be close. It's going to be really, really close for Backham here.
The flip side is he is going to have slightly fresher tires. But is it enough to make a difference over those few laps? He is now exactly at halfway here at the end of lap 18.
Joe, he's got plenty of fuel. He doesn't have to pit. I mean, we've got 18 laps to go when he hits the stripe here. He does not have to pit. His pace has been phenomenal, but the fall off has been.
He's coming in. He's coming in.
There we go.
I didn't think anybody was going to attempt a no-stop route here. Sixth place, getting tight down there between Thompson and Domingo. Thompson still charging through. He's got himself up to sixth now, and he's going to get another position from Lindsay. So work their way through the stadium section. I'm keeping half an eye on Backham here. See if Finch maybe could get him.
I don't know. Finch is at the start-finish line now.
Backham's coming out. He's hitting the cones just now. Where's Finch? He's
right
coming
there.
up. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close as he comes up around him. Just not quite there, but look at the gap now down to half a second. This race is on.
Yes, it is, Joe. Finch has got a chance to fight now.
But can he compete with the fresher tires that the Benelux driver of Mac Backham has on his McLaren now? That's the question. He's within DRS range. I think if he's going to attack at any time, now is when he's got to go. He knows that Backham's had a pace advantage over him. He knows that the DRS is going to be at his disposal down the backstretch. What's going to happen here for Finch? As we watch from the chopper, DRS flips open for Finch. He's just looking a little bit too far back. Car closes in bit by bit. He takes a peek down into 12, but it's not going to happen this time.
It's hard under the brakes.
You have to imagine that the UK&I driver is in full attack mode here.
Joe just behind them. Oscar really struggling to keep Orozco out of the mirror.
Boy, our top four are only separated by 3 seconds. It is a close fight here at the top of the field. Going to get another DRS chance here, does Finch, but he's a little bit farther back this time. 6 tenths now behind Backham, 7 tenths behind Backham as they come onto the front stretch. I think Finch's chance has come and gone as the pace of Backham starts to come into play.
And Joe, right now, Mateo back battle for 7th. Calistani is under attack from Germanton. Germanton gets a nice run out of the final turn. Up the front straightaway, being defensive.
Germanton switches back to the racing line. Takes the wide entry, lock up from Calistani. over under there, but the track is going to switch back through 2. They're side by side down into the S's. This is where it gets tricky, and he's chopped off. Germanton has to give it up. I don't think we've seen any passes completed through turn 1 today, have we?
No, they seem to get that run down the hill, and then the pass not completed.
Oh, but that side-by-side action. Look at Benjamin Lindsay. That's made it a 3-car fight for 7th.
That's what
the backstretch they go.
That's the type of battle Lindsay's been in all day, these 3-car battles. This is another good one.
Germanton very close. Another defensive move from Calistani. All the way down to that white line. To the outside goes the New Jerseyan. He's going to have to try and hold him off. Oh, wow. Just gives him enough space at 12, but gets it done.
Boy, and Lindsay almost took a bite out of it there with Calistani.
Now, apparently something happened between Bida and Rasmussen that we didn't see him. Checking to see if I can find it. It's more than 2 laps back. It's quite a ways back there. Oh, and something's happened to Osgaard. He is off in the first corner. This was driver error. This was all himself. The VRS car in a Sim Sport car just outbrakes himself. That looks like hardware failure, though. That there's no lockup into there, Siobhan.
No, I'm with you, Joe. I'm thinking hardware. Something just didn't look right about that or natural.
Yeah, he sends it all the way down to first. I think something happened to his equipment there. Now, the thing that happened with Bida and Rasmussen was maybe 4 or 5 laps ago, and
yeah,
I think it was down. Yeah, did come together. Unfortunately, Bida is in 10th. Rasmussen demoted to 11th.
Yeah, it looked like what happened was Rasmussen locked him up going down into turn 13, and Bida was right there, got up under the rear of him, and both of them went around, but both of them continued on, Joe.
Well, how about Ricardo Orozco? He's had a little bit of luck on his side, but he's gotten onto the podium, having started in 4th spot. Oh, and as soon as I say that, commentator's curses, he takes the wide line through 19.
He's still got 15 laps. Ooh, that got wicked on him there out of the final turn. He's still got a ways to go. 15 laps here, and he's going to have to be steady as he starts to lose sight of Finch, and Backham up there still battling.
And Backham has really turned the wick up. He set the fastest lap of the race last time by, has extended his gap to 1.3 seconds. Oh, Germanton and Lindsay in a battle coming off of the final corner. Lindsay has the inside, but what is Germanton going to do? As they break for the sharp hairpin of 1, and has no response. Now, how did that happen? Let's see if we can get the replay. Boy, great job by Lindsay to just be there when he needed it. Germanton a little bit wide out of 19, and Lindsay knew it. He immediately goes on the attack, sticks his nose, and Germanton gives him space. What a great opportunistic move by Lindsay to just snatch that place away.
Yeah, Lindsay aware that he was having trouble, and he took advantage of it, just like you said, Joe. Great job from Lindsay. He's able to pull away now just a bit. Almost a second between him and Germanton now.
In fact, Germanton needs to worry about Calistani, who has not dropped off, even though he overtook him. I think Matteo wants to get that back. Lap 22 here out of 36. You're watching round 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. Make that lap 23 as Backham crosses the line one more time. If you're just joining us, the gap between our leaders is about 1.5 seconds. Backham has been pacing the fields. He was under threat briefly after pit stops when Finch took an early stop, tried his best to out-strategize our leader, but didn't quite pay off. Orozco has had the quiet race of the day to get into 3rd, and unusual circumstances for Osgaard, having started in 3rd, gave it away after his strategy call meant that he was leapfrogged in the pits by Finch, and then, unfortunately, just went off into the kitty litter in turn 1 and gave up third to Orozco.
Calistani, I can't figure him out, Joe. He dropped the spots, and he seems to have gotten it back together, though. I think he's primed to make an attack here on Germantown.
Yeah, whatever was plaguing him before, he's figured it out. Maybe it was settings in the car, and he had to tweak some things to get it back to his liking on the fresh tires with lighter fuel. But whatever the case, like you said, Matteo has, ever since that battle between Germantown and Lindsay, gotten onto the back of Kyle and just been pressurizing him.
Yeah, this track wasn't pressure enough, and you got to worry about Calistani, who is on the charge here. He really is got a mirror full here for Germantown.
Now, briefly, I understand that Finch was within DRS range. That would be surprising since it was a 1.5 seconds, and it's gone back to a 1.5 seconds. Unusual stuff. I'm not sure if maybe Backham made a bit of a mistake somewhere.
He's definitely closer now, but it's still 1.4 seconds.
Yeah. Lap times last time through, 38.2 for Backham, 38.2 for Finch.
Yeah, exact same lap times there. Both ran 2:42s that last time.
I'm going to go back and see if maybe Backham had an off somewhere. Because that is, highly unusual. I'm not seeing anything. So maybe a mistake that just wasn't obvious from going back and looking at a cursory glance here from Finch. It has been holding steady at 1.3, 1.4 between these two.
Well, looks like Finch is getting better at keeping pace with him. Now what we've got to see here over the last 12 laps or so is, can Finch get better at actually catching him?
He's certainly pushing. We saw him go wide at 19 yet again. I am starting to worry. What I would give, Sean, for a 1x counter of each of these drivers live, because there's been a few that have been racking them up.
Yeah, there have, Joe. And as I look around the circuit, it's hard to avoid seeing a car going offline and out of the boundary. So everybody, I think, I don't know that anyone's run this clean today. We've said it before, I'll say it again. This is a very easy track to pick them up on.
Well, closest battle is still between Calistani and Germantown. These two just about in a dead heat, as the Italian has been doing everything he can to try and retake 8th from Kyle Germantown. Right on board the Affinity driver, looking back at the PRS driver.
I'll tell you what, at the rate this battle is going between Calistani and Germantown, I'm starting to think if Calistani gets that position, that might feel like a win with as much work as he's had to put in here.
Yeah, certainly. You know, we were wondering about Josh Thompson. We really haven't updated people in a while on his progress. Having started 13th, he is now in 5th position. Now, the bad news for him is it's about 6.5 seconds up to Tommy Ostgaard. And I don't think that he's going to be able to catch him in the few laps that we have left as fast as Thompson is. Probably going to stall out at this top 5, but that's nothing to be ashamed of for Josh.
No. You know, in fact, he'll probably pick up some good points today, Joe. 5th place finish, started 13th, and I'll tell you what, it's been an impressive run. It's just a shame that he's not been able to really battle with anybody. He's done a good job of maintaining his own pace and holding position now. So Ostgaard is obviously going to have to make some sort of a mistake here for Thompson to have an opportunity.
Riding on board with Calistani here. He is trying everything on Germanton. Get a little psychological. Oh, deep dive up the inside. Not just psychological. He's getting aggressive, but he's fended off as the outside line gives more momentum to Germanton. He holds on for now. I am shocked that he tried that. He telegraphed it. He put his nose to the inside, and I thought, oh, there's no way he's going to actually make a move from that far back.
Yeah, I think we've got another driver listening to the broadcast, Joe. Calistani said, I'm going to show these guys. I'm going to send it now.
Another off from Germanton coming out of 10. Oh, and he's way wide through 11. Here we go. Calistani gets another bite of the apple. Down onto the backstretch. DRS flips open. He's a bit far back, but we saw that's not going to stop Calistani. Here he comes. Germanton stays to the racing line. This has served him before. He gives him space. And look at that. Wow, fends him off.
Good work here by Germanton. Good work by Calistani.
Is that New Jersey grit, just doing all he can to hold off the Italian?
I'm thinking maybe that second cup of Java kicking in for Germanton right about now.
It's almost noon over there, so probably ready for lunch after this one. Or almost 11, I should say. 10 laps to go now. Calistani doesn't have a second go, but he's still working hard as he locks him up at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and it kills his momentum just a bit there. Germanton getting a much better trip to the S's right now. Well, Joe, you said it before. I wish we could see the X counter on these guys. Just have a feeling we've got several drivers that are close as we get into the under the last 10 laps here in this race.
I'm with you on that. I think we might see a few disappear in the final few laps. All right, another chance at DRS, but once again, a little bit far back for Matteo. As they come down the backstretch towards turn 12. You can see this time, it doesn't even get close to Germanton. I wonder if Germanton used a little bit of his energy recovery there to try and keep himself more safe. Through the stadium section they go, weaving back and forth, tiptoeing these powerful F1 cars, and then unleashing the downforce around Turkey, completing yet another lap as they swing it up to the final corner. Fans of our leaders, Backham now has extended it to 2.4. Oh, and Finch had a little bit of a blink on my screen, but doesn't seem to be a serious issue for him.
Oh, and Calistani makes the move.
Sends it up the inside, but overshoots the corner. Oh, my goodness.
Calistani surprised me.
Get out the soap, because Calistani's, he's got the kitchen sink in this one. He's trying everything. Look at that. Just, he had it, and then just a little too greedy on the brakes.
Yeah.
You know, as iconic as that first corner is, Sean, I can't believe it doesn't have a name yet. You got to get on to your fellow Texans to dub it something. I feel like it needs to be called the Cliff or something with the way it just is at the top of a hill like that.
You know, corner names belong to soup, so it wouldn't be appropriate for me to even begin to come up with a name, but I agree with you. I think that's one of the things COTA lacks is some great turn names.
We watch Germanton continue to hold off Calistani. Closest battle on the track here in the dying stages. Everybody else really just managing their race from here on out. Nobody really closing down on one another quickly enough to give us some drama. So let's hold on to this until we see something happen with other drivers, because Calistani has been giving us a show.
He really has, Joe. One of those drivers is probably pushing the limit, though, on incidents, and so what we want to see is Calistani continue to fight. What we don't want to see is him disappear off into the ether with a disqualification. So hopefully he can manage that here towards the end. Again, we have no real idea. We can only guess with the drivers. But again, you watch so much of this and you say, yeah, that was probably an off. That was probably an off. And that little mental calculator you've got going there begins to think, well, that's adding up. And I think it is for Calistani.
And for him, he doesn't even need the mental calculator. Every time he goes off, it'll tell him how many he's racked up. And as that gets closer to 17, he'll get more and more nervous. Sean, we have a suggestion from the peanut gallery for that first corner. Bob.
Yeah,
I think I like the Cliff better.
Bob.
All right, down the backstretch, DRS open for Calistani. He's getting very close. He sends it in again. He's given room once again. Oh, but he spins the tires off the corner. And as they get into the stadium section, it swings in favor of Germanton. He holds on to 8th still. What a cool customer Kyle is. He's seen multiple attacks and multiple times now. He's let him have the line. He just says, all right, you can have it. I'm just going to keep holding, keep on the power how I've been doing. And every single time it's been working.
It certainly has. You want to see the best battles up to the front, but you know what? I will take a mid-pack battle any day. These guys just trying to stay within the top 10 and maybe do a little bit better. And Calistani has really brought a lot of excitement to the second half of this race. I fear he's starting to lose touch with Germanton just a bit, just slightly out of the DRS zone now.
Yeah, this is the biggest gap that we've seen between them. Calistani's actually outside of DRS range. He's got to start to hustle if he wants to get back within striking distance. Speaking of striking distance, we've jumped back to the other battle that started to get close. COTA has been closing in on Stefan Schmidt to try and keep from being the last driver to cross the line. You talk about mid-pack drivers and think about them just battling for pride down there. This very much is a matter of ego. Nobody wants to be the last car to come home, Sean.
Yeah, not Ali COTA, I can guarantee you that. And right now, he's got Schmidt set up here. Here we go. DRS about to open.
Yep, this is the closest he has been. But Schmidt's Affinity Racing car tries to use the ERS to keep himself safe. He holds the racing line feeling safe enough, and as both of them come down to the apex, they're going to stay in order. Schmidt in 12th, COTA 13th.
COTA really, really pushing here.
Yeah, he's applying the pressure as good as he can. Having some difficulty, both he and Calistani, getting these passes done here in the late stages. Gonna get another chance of the DRS here on the front stretch. Ooh, he's very close, but he doesn't have the greatest of exits off the corner. This is much shorter than the backstretch. As he closes in, Schmidt not going defensive. Here he comes. COTA looking to the inside. Schmidt goes for the over-under. But I think COTA's got it done. Move Ollie COTA up into 12th.
Yeah, that was a pretty calculated attempt right there by COTA. I think he did exactly what he planned on doing and executed it perfectly. Now Schmidt's going to have a chance to fight back here with about 5.5 laps. This is not over unless COTA starts to pull away here.
I think that's exactly what's happening. You can see already on screen he's pulling a gap. Remember, he chased him down. Yeah. So I think COTA just had the better pace.
Might have robbed Stefan. Oh, and a big mistake there.
Yep, Stefan Schmidt spinning the tires is definitely not going to allow him to catch. Speaking of catching, that's exactly what Harrison Finch is not doing, as Mac Backham has extended to 4.9 seconds, nearly 5 seconds now, between first and P2. And interestingly, remember I mentioned that Finch had some connection issues a little bit before. Well, his ping at one moment was all the way up to 500. Now I'm looking at it, it's come down on my screen. So I think whatever was happening with his router, it's been solved for now, but that had to be a little bit scary for a bit.
Yeah, well, he's not the only driver who's had trouble today, though. So, it's been, since the race started, several complaining about issues regarding connection or ping. So we'll keep an eye on it. But right now, Finch still has that second spot. Unfortunately, he's given up a lot of time now. 5 seconds here to back him.
Make our director happy that I didn't call it a modem this time. Call it a router. I grew up in the 90s. You have to give me a little slack there. But things starting to get close between two other drivers. How about Lindsay and Domingo? Lindsay isn't done, having been starting without a qualifying time. He's continuing to climb, seeing if he can follow Josh Thompson through. Domingo's the only one separating them right now for 6th position.
Domingo, better be careful there. He was a little loose out of turn 15.
Yeah, he's starting to really put the pressure on. Oh,
way off.
Pressure's starting to get to Domingo. Another driver that needs to worry about incidents here with 4 laps to go. Haven't seen any DQs yet. Down into turn 1. Domingo holds him off for now. Lindsay has been a great driver out there today, especially with the overtake, Sean. I'm sure Domingo hasn't been able to see that, but if he did, boy, I would be sweating if I was him. Oh, and Germanton! Did they come together? No, they did not. It was Germanton making an error. What happened here? Oh, the car got loose all on its own. You're going to see it into turn 2.
It's just going to break, Joe. Here it is.
I've never seen a car lose it in that corner. Not even the Lotus 49s.
That, one more look at it here. It's just really odd.
He overcorrects. Simple as that. He keeps it out of the wall, but wow. What a development. And poor Kyle Germanton, after the race he's been having, that slides him all the way down into 10th.
All right, Joe, we should probably go back to the battle between Lindsay and Domingo. This is really, really heating up here. I think Lindsay's going to get him here on the front straightaway. Just got to get through these last couple of turns, hit the DRS zone. This could be Lindsay's position.
Time's running out for Lindsay. 3 to go as he crosses the line here. Oh, he's very close to Domingo. Is Domingo going to defend? He starts to slide it down to the inside. Up to the outside. Here comes Lindsay. They're going to go side by side. No chance of an over-under this time for Benjamin, and so he has to settle for 7th. Did German have another off?
Yeah, he did, Joe.
Boy, we talked about the tires, Sean.
Yeah.
This is looking like the case.
Yeah, through Turkey there is where he has the trouble.
And once again, all by himself. Yeah, that something in the setup of that car is making it loose at the end of a run. And Rasmussen has managed to overtake him. So that demotes Germanton down to 11th now.
Yeah.
Oh, and battle between Lindsay and Domingo. Down into turn 12. Domingo to the inside. Lindsay on the outside looks for the over-under. The switchback is not going to give him the inside line here into the stadium section. He goes for another switchback, but once again finds himself on the outside.
There comes Lindsay again. Oh.
Didn't think he was going to be able to get that one. PTS car of Domingo under threat here in the dying stages of this race. Oh, and Germanton and Rasmussen now side by side. Rasmussen's able to hold Germanton off. Boy, battles everywhere you look here in the final laps.
And Calistani not in one right now, and I bring him up because I think I called him Castellani a little bit ago. Sorry about that, Mateo. But someone did point out that at least I got all the letters right. So
Yeah. Wow. Having to have eyes in the back of our head as Lindsay and Domingo still close, and Rasmussen and Germanton now in a heated fight. White flag going to be given this time by for Mac Backham. Had a little bit of screen time with a bit of excitement, but for the most part, he has shown, just like he did at Road America, why he has over 8,000, nearly 9,000 for his iRating.
Nice. That's staggering.
Humbling, if anything.
Well, folks, if you're on iRacing, it gives everyone something to shoot for. There you go.
It certainly
I'll
does.
tell you what, the battle between Lindsay and Domingo is not over. Lindsay is right up under his wing. He is going to get another great DRS opportunity here in just a moment.
Certainly will on the front stretch as they work their way through Turkey into 19. Not missing anything with the battle back between Germanton and Rasmussen. This is the one we want to watch right now onto the front stretch. DRS going to open up for Benjamin. Can he do it this time? He's had a number of goes here into turn one. Very hard to pull off this pass today in this corner, it seems. But he's too far back, and he's not going to get it this time.
We call it Bob, Joe. In fact, I'm gonna submit that to suit for approval. We'll see.
All right.
Oh, look at this, Lindsay. Lindsay took a dive at him there at the end of the S's.
Ooh, unusual places. He's starting to get a little bit desperate. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on our leader as we watch these two fight. Are we going to see the move into 11, or is he going to try and set him up for the backstretch in the DRS zone? He's close enough. He's waiting for the DRS. He's very close this time, in fact. And I'm afraid we're going to have to cut away from this because Mac Backham coming through the final corner. He's going to cross the line and take the win here in round 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. So we cut back to that battle. Domingo has managed to fend him off yet again, but I do not think this is the last of this fight.
Oh, and we had our first DQ. Stefan Schmidt, Joe.
Oh. Riding on board with Lindsay, staying right with him. It's hard to stay close through the wake of Turkey. Into the final corner. Oh,
no! And the wake got him, Joe.
Losing grip through the triple apexer. Now, the good news is Calistani's far enough back. Lindsay can consolidate the seventh and limp it home. Disappointment, though, for Benjamin Lindsay at the final corner.
Well, you mentioned the wake, and that's exactly what got him. I mean, that's heartbreaking for Benjamin Lindsay. What a battle.
We're watching Rasmussen and Germanton now. Is Germanton going to have a last gasp dive? He's too far back. I don't think this is going to work. Rasmussen takes a top 10. So with that, we'll take a quick break here on... Oh, excuse me. We've got the replay before we go to break of Lindsay.
I mean, Joe, you called it perfectly. I don't know what more can be said. He just catches the dirty air there and loses the grip, loses the downforce on that front wing.
It looked like he was going to catch it. He was counter steering like hell.
Yeah. Man. Still picks up 7 spots today. And has a great race. So the Mid-South driver, nothing to be ashamed of at all, man. That was a great run.
All right, now we're going to take it to break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. And don't go away because on screen you're going to see all the upcoming races here on the GSRC. Welcome back to Circuit of the Americas. Here in Texas, we just watched round 10 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. Now, we managed to go back and find that incident that we didn't get on screen between Beta and Rasmussen. This is into 13, interestingly. It's after turn 12. And this started here, where Beta tries to make a move down into the corner. And Sean, it's afterwards where Beta thinks maybe I can have another go into 13. It looks like just it was a little overly ambitious.
Maybe so, Joe. The drivers will probably debate it either way, but you see it there on screen.
Maybe just above, maybe. Yeah, or this here on board should show it as he'll dive to the inside late. Yeah, we'll watch it from above. Sorry to cut you off. I was hoping if we could get this above view here, just really show kind of what Beta attempted. Yeah, he was trying to look to the inside, and unfortunately, there was a car there at the apex.
Hey, we appreciate the battle. Thanks, guys. Sorry we missed it when it happened, but no, it's the story of this race. There were a lot of good battles.
The other story of this race was our finishing order. Mac Backham takes the win, but how about Harrison Finch? If it weren't for a mistake early in the race, he may have jumped himself into the lead with his pit strategy. Regardless, it did get him a second-place finish. Ricardo Orozco with a quiet run down to finish the podium. Oscar, after the race, came onto the chat. Apparently his pedals froze. A lot like what we saw from the Nürburgring with him. Cost him a podium finish. He finished in 4th. Josh Thompson climbing from 13th to a top 5 today. Manu Domingo with a robust defense to get himself into 6th in the end. Benjamin Lindsay tried all he could, but unfortunately winds up in 7th. Still, he came from 14th, so not a bad job. Matteo Calistani gets 8th position. Daniel Beta 9th, and Nicholas Rasmussen rounds out our top 10.
All right, Joe. Kyle Germanton, tough race for him. He'll wind up 11th. Ali Cuoco with a 12th place finish. Not quite the day he probably expected. Stefan Schmidt, unfortunately, going to disqualify there at the end. Will wind up 13th. Rob Bower had some trouble. Got out of the car after that trouble. He'll finish 14th. Ashley Beard was a very early casualty and got out of the car at 15th. And Bill Frazier, unfortunately, Frazier never even really got off to a start there. It all ended at the top of the hill for him in Bob.
Well, we have second place finisher Harrison Finch ready to talk to us about his strategy and his race. Harrison, I know you were ruined your mistake, but boy, what a strategy call you made to get yourself up into contention.
Yeah, that was all planned. I did it yesterday as well. Same lap. It just seemed like the perfect lap to gain a lot of time, but I think I paid for it at the end. I was losing quite a lot compared to Mac, and that was because of the tyres. But yeah, overall, it was a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear that pace-wise, you weren't going to be able to catch him. So I guess at that point, had to do something different to try and see if it could give you a chance. Even still, second place helps you in the points, as that's going to help you gain on Tommy Ostgaard here for the championship. Are you thinking it's possible to overtake him in the points in these final 2 rounds?
I think you need to have a really bad race, but I'll still just try and do my job and beat him in both the weeks. Hopefully that'll work out.
Now, I know one of your goals is to get your pro license. How is that looking? Do you feel like it's getting more and more feasible for you to get up to the top series here on iRacing?
Yeah, I think so. I compare quite well to my teammates who have got pro license, so I think I just need to repeat these performances in Road's Pro Series and I should be all right.
Well, best of luck to you on that. Congratulations on a podium, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you. See you next week.
Other driver that we have, third place, may have had a little bit less interesting race down there in third. Sean is going to talk to Ricardo Orozco.
Hola and parabéns, Ricardo. Great job out there today, buddy.
So you can speak some Portuguese, I guess. Then.
Not real well, but a little bit. We'll keep it English for the fans. What a run, man. Great race. You kept it all together there over the length of this one. And talk to us a little bit about it.
No, I'm really happy with the result of the race. I guess I never came here before, so I just came in to talk to you guys a little bit. And it was a very good race. I'm really happy for the result, especially for Harry. He did an amazing race. But my race actually wasn't really interesting, I would say, from the fans' perspective, because I really didn't fight with anyone. I guess the only fight was with Tommy, but we didn't really overtake him because I think he made a mistake on turn 1 or something. Then when I looked at it, he was already behind me. So that was pretty much the only pass that I would do. Yeah, I was a little bit insecure about the one stop, but when I saw Harry jumping in, I said, okay, let's do the same strategy. And that was about it. Yeah, pretty happy with the result.
Well, one of the things we were concerned about during the race were incidents and this track being really easy to pick up off tracks. You kept those to a bare minimum. I'm seeing you only picked up 2.
Yeah, that's good. Doing this GPS races is very good to try to bring up some safety rating as well for the WCS, where usually we get some more incidents. So I'm happy with that. And it was a good result. Also for safety rating for sure.
Well, Ricardo, thank you so much for coming in and talking with us. Anybody you'd like to say hello to or give a shout out or thanks to?
No, first thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. It's great to be doing these races with you guys broadcasting. Thanks for all the teammates and the PSR and the sponsors, universities about the first, Raman Health Technologies, C1 dashboard, and thanks to you guys.
All right, my friend, and you take care. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, take care. Cheers, bye.
All right, and cheers to Ricardo. Joe, I think you have caught up with Josh Thompson and talked to him about his race.
Yeah, Josh, cut it a little bit close towards the end. I was looking at your incidents, Josh. I'm seeing 16 on the board. Were you sweating when you started to get to the last laps there?
Yeah, I had it for about 11 laps towards the end when the tyres start to slowly drop off. I nearly lost it at one point as well through the same corner I dropped it earlier on in the race. So, yeah, I just wanted to bring it home, really.
Now, talk to me about qualifying, because that really set the tone for the race. It looked like both of your laps you had incidents on. Was that just driver error over driving it to try and get the time?
To be honest, lack of practice. I wasn't even expecting to do the race day, but decided about 1 o'clock, so 2 hours before the race to do it. So obviously I did a few laps, but all that was in like really hot weather, just for like normal testing. So obviously not driven this track in cold weather since the Pro Series. So it just caught me out, and the setups I was running weren't fitted, I would say, to the new style of car is with the new tyre model. So I struggled a lot. But so obviously both laps I messed up myself, which is a bit of a shame, because I think if I put a decent lap in and put like P5, P6, I don't think I would have been far out of a shot for a podium and possibly challenging at the front for the win.
Now, everybody stuck with that one-stop strategy today. Was there any point that you thought about doing a two-stop, considering you had to do so much overtaking today, that the fresh tires would give you an advantage for that?
Probably after I spun. When I spun it for the long right. Because obviously, it's like you heat the tyre up, it's awful for a few laps, and you start to struggle and lose a lot of performance. But it's only a 36-lap race. I remember a few seasons ago, it used to be like 44 laps. And if it was that case, then I would have done it too, because obviously I lost a lot. I definitely did lose time to, especially the top 4, but I was catching back up with Manu and Matteo, so there was no point of just compromising that. But lucky enough, managed to work the strategy okay enough, and the last few laps just brought it home, really.
Did indeed. Well, congratulations on the top 5. You can color us impressed with the job you did working your way through the field.
Cheers, guys.
That was Josh Thompson with a 5th place finish. Last one we're going to talk to is driver maybe a little bit more disappointed. Sean is caught up with Benjamin Lindsay.
Benjamin, man, that was some kind of fight you had going there with Manu at the end. You picked up 7 positions in this race. You started back of the field. I'm going to say congratulations. I realize you're probably disappointed with the way that thing ended fighting for that spot, but talk to us a little bit about what happened there at the end.
Yeah. First of all, thanks a bunch for doing this. You guys are really doing a great job here, and we appreciate it. But right at the end there, yeah, my my rear tires were gone. It was just a case of trying to overtake a bunch of people and stepping on the loud pedal a little bit too much. But as soon as I got out of the dirty air, it just gripped with the front, and around she went. So trying hard, but good, clean racing, and sure was a lot of fun.
Now, Benjamin, you represent the Mid-South. What state you from? Where you at, buddy?
Well, I'm all over. Right now I'm in Austin. I'm a military guy, so I jump around from place to place. But anywhere in the Southeast, I'll probably be in there.
Okay, so you're in Austin. Have you made it over to COTA yet?
Yeah, I have actually. Saw a Formula One race there a couple of years back. Really beautiful place, and I fly over it every day and take a look down and watch the GT cars doing their thing. You can hear them on a Fridays from my workplace, so it's really a neat place.
All right, so have you and the guys from the base gone over and hopped in the go-karts, the new go-kart track over there?
Well, it's certainly on the bucket list, but no, not yet.
You know what? These races always fun to watch on Sunday, and I'm glad you made this one. Anybody you'd like to thank for the race today?
Yeah, certainly. Our sponsors, we got Race Boss. It's a new app for your cars, and you can look at the Race Boss app available now. And then we've got Allenberg Racing Schools and GTR Simulators. We appreciate them, and obviously teammates for getting the car together, getting the setup ready.
All right, so you alluded to the fact that you do some flying. Are you a pilot?
Yeah, fighter pilot back in the day. Now I'm doing trainers, but we'll get back there one day, I guess.
All right. So what are you flying right now?
Right now it's a T6 Texan. We teach the primary students from pedestrian to pilot, pretty much get them going there. But F-16s otherwise kind of the side job there. Wow.
All right. So it's always fun learning a little bit about our drivers. And, you know, I would say that driving an F-16 probably a little bit more challenging than driving a Formula One car. What do you think?
I don't know. I guess the acceleration is pretty good up to about 150. But, yeah, certainly the G's, very comfortable with the G's, whether it's lateral or vertical. So something certainly that transfers.
Well, buddy, hey, come on back and race some more. We'd love to talk to you again. But again, I'm going to congratulate you on what was a great battle and great entertainment for us here on this end.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks again.
All right, Joe. And that was Benjamin Lindsay. And you know what? Despite a 7th place finish, I'll say it again, he came up through the field to get there and gave us a really, really entertaining battle at the end of this thing today.
Very cool to find out what kind of varied backgrounds we have with our drivers here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Although I'm curious how difficult it is to drive an F-16. I guess parallel parking might be a little tough in that thing. But anyways, we're going to close up today. And the first thing we want to do is give a huge thank you to the iGPS community. This is a crowd-funded broadcast. And these drivers that you see on screen, and some of them aren't even drivers, honestly, have helped make this broadcast happen this season. A big thank you to everybody who has contributed to help bring GSRC to air with the iGPS series. Also, thanks to Jan Brzezina for organizing that effort. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean Amjad, and Dougie. You need to update my script. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check us out on social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Don't forget, head on over to our YouTube page now that the broadcast is over. There's a big red button that says subscribe. Hit that, and you won't miss a moment here on the GSRC. The next race, we are going to Watkins Glen, the old F1 track here in the U.S. That'll be Sunday, May 27th at 10 a.m. Eastern. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.